Hey guys, Brian delivers you the goods here. I'm returning to you for a album review, and sorry for the lengthy delay for this next review. It's just I've been busy with work today, and I'm just like really exhausted today because I didn't get much sleep last night. But hopefully tonight I do get some sleep. But I wanted to return to you for this new album by Polaris, which is their new album Fatalism that I just got a chance to check out for this 46-minute album with 11 songs on it, and this is the album we've been waiting for since late May for the Inhumane track that came out then. And then two other singles after that. So I'm going to discuss what I listened to for Fatalism for this third studio album of theirs and let you know my thoughts on it. So let's dive into this album review now. Basically, Polaris is one of my favorite bands, metalcore bands, and really liked their last album, The Death of Me. That was one of my favorites. That's why I pre-ordered this album, which rest in peace to Ryan Sue. I think he'd be very proud of how the final product turned out for this album, and pretty much, yeah, I think the band members would be very proud of the record too, and what Ryan Sue would think of it. So basically I just wanted to touch on that subject because I know he passed away back in June, which is pretty sad. But the first track is Harbinger. I think this track's pretty good. It starts off a little slow for the beginning, but it does pick up as Jamie's singing. Jake's vocals are pretty good in this track, surprisingly. It's a little iffy at times, but it does pretty well with the execution of the track going into the next one, which, excuse my throat being messed up. It's just mucus in my throat. I don't know, it's just, I'm still getting over the after effects of COVID and trying to make sure to feel a little better, but I don't know. It's just everyone experiences things differently. Basically, Harbinger is getting a 5 out of 5. Nightmare is a pretty strong track. I reviewed this song in early July, but it was supposed to come out July 6th or somewhere around then, but it actually didn't because it got delayed. They took it off YouTube and then gets delayed it to like July 26th. So they delayed it a few weeks, almost 3 weeks after. And that was a little disappointing mostly because I think this was a great song. One of the best second singles, in my opinion. So I'd give it a 5 out of 5. Parasites does have some electronic work at the beginning, but it does very well with the execution and how Jamie's screaming. Jake's vocals is pretty solid in it, but I think mostly Jamie was taking over most of the song, so really enjoyed his screaming vocals, so 5 out of 5. Overflow was the final single we got for before this album came out, which came out August 23rd, this single, which I did review it on my channel, so definitely go check out that track review for it. Really enjoyed this track. It's definitely different from Polaris, and in its own way, because different is all usually a good thing. When you want to try something new with your music and all that, you just gotta at least take a risk and try something different. And I think that's what they did with this track. They tried something different. There is some electronic work in it, but it does execute very well. And Jake mostly takes over the song, but Jamie does come in with a few screams in this track, and it sounds pretty good. And I think the mixing and overall the production of the whole sounding of the track is amazing. 5 out of 5. With Regards was probably my least favorite. I don't hate it, I just don't think it's anything to write home about too much. Screaming vocals from Jamie are great. It's just Jake his vocals are on and off at times. They do well and then they don't at certain execution points in the track. Mainly the chorus. I felt a little disappointed with the chorus, with how it sounded, in my personal opinion. But I don't hate the chorus, I just think it's an alright chorus. But I'd give this song a 4.5 out of 5. It's a solid one, just not my favorite. Inhumane was the first single we got for this album's announcement for Fatalism, and I really love this track. I always come back to this track so much. It gets you really pumped up with what you're doing. It motivates you to do something. I listen to this song a lot at work just to get through my shift at Dollar General. So basically, it's a great track, and I highly recommend you check this song Inhumane out by Polaris. It's one of the best songs. The music video is pretty cool too, as well. It was the last music video for Ryan Sue to be in, which, like I said, may he rest in peace, because he will be missed. 26 is pretty young to go, from what I was looked into and all that. I'm like, man, that's so young. Still has a lot of life to live. So 5 out of 5 for this track. Great song. Definitely recommend checking this song out. The Crossfire is another great track. It picks up as the song goes on, and Jamie's screaming vocals are great in this track. Are really good. So really like this song, and the heavy drum work and guitar work is what's the best part about it. 5 out of 5. Dissipate is a really good one. Really like the overall sounding of the melody and the overall execution of the track. Performed flawlessly in its own way, meaning it's good. And I'd give this a 5 out of 5. Another great song for sure. So I really enjoyed the 8th track on this album. Then comes Aftertouch, and Jamie's vocals, mostly his screaming comes in like later on. It's mostly Jake's vocals I'm trying to picture right now with what I'm listening to, with what I was listening to. Sorry if I'm messing up on my wording. I'm just really tired mostly. Aftertouch is a pretty good track. Jake's vocals have its moments, but I think for what it went for, it started off mellow, then it started picking up in a good way, and I really enjoyed that about the track. Sorry if I'm stuttering. Like I said, I'm just messing up with my wording today. 5 out of 5 for Aftertouch. Fault Line is a great track. It is 5 minutes and 5 seconds, but very good track for what they went for with this one. So 5 out of 5. Jamie's screaming vocals come in a lot in this track, and I really dig that about the song. And Jake's clean vocals sound really good too. So 5 out of 5. All in Vain is the final song to end this album, to close out the album. What a great way to close out an album, in my honest opinion. I really enjoyed Jamie's screaming vocals in this track, and Jake's vocals sound pretty good in this song too as well. It works in a good way, but the overall execution was the highlight of this song. Like, it made you feel something with the closing track for this album. So 5 out of 5. Overall, production, mixing, and execution wise, I think Polaris Fatalism, and sorry about that cat. That cat's going by for a moment. Overall, I think Fatalism by Polaris is a pretty strong album. Highly recommend you check this album out, and I gotta let this cat out in a moment. In just one moment. So, first score for me, I'm giving Polaris Fatalism a 9.5 out of 10. I think Ryan Sue would be very proud of what they accomplished with this album and the final product for it. So I really enjoyed it. Definitely did pre-order it. It's going to be coming to my house probably on the 4th or something like that, it said. But who knows? It might come sooner. Depending on Amazon's delivery. So basically 9.5 out of 10 for Polaris Fatalism. One of the best albums this year. Not album of the year, but it is a really good album, and I highly recommend you check this album out. So with that being said, guys, thank you guys for watching this album review.